Small talk, she about to fill some big shoes, touch a big bag. Come on, Tiny, this a big move. Can't spell Tiny without the NY. We run the city, bitch, yeah, you know the vibes. Small talk, baby, pull up with the guys. Yeah, I had to say it twice, yeah, you know she never lie, whoa. Yeah.
Well, welcome back. We are doing a very, how do I say? What was the word you used before we started? Um, what was the word you used?
I don't know. What was I talking
When
about?
I was like, I wanted like very informal. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like a very lax, informal episode. And I thought also because so many people ask, like when they do watch episodes, I don't know if I told you this, Liv, but it'll be like some people that I guess like resonate with like each person that's on there, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, I love Liv," and they'll be asking me questions, and I'm like, maybe we should do something where people kind of get to know us as hosts a little bit
That makes
better,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
And I think our like organic conversations just as best friends is kind of what led me comfortable to want to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only right that I guess we do one like that.
Okay.
So that makes
Fair
sense,
enough. Yeah, I think so
right?
too.
So, and it's end of the year, 2023, new 2024 year coming in. So much happened this year. Um, I want to start also by saying that I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. I'm really
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And you're like one of my biggest inspirations close
Thank
to
you.
me. So your house is beautiful. I'm
Thank
very
you.
excited for you and all your goals. But how are you feeling?
I
Checking in today.
today I am good.
Mm-hmm.
Today I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that we're able to do this episode and that I'm in New York, which is a whole mess in itself.
Mm.
Okay.
My girl was stressed today. Like you would think the girl's not from New York, but it's okay.
Born and raised from the Bronx, moved to Delaware. Like I'm in the country in Delaware. And it is drastically like being there for the past couple of months and then coming to New York is just like now I know what the tourists feel. Like, oh my God. Like, first of all, what was it? Like within 24 hours of me being in New York, I probably was looking for a parking spot for like an hour. I'm frustrated, almost getting into an argument with a lady because I'm freaking double parked in the street. It's just
Welcome to the dirty, dirty.
yo, too chaotic, especially like where I've been so calm and centered
Mm-hmm.
in Delaware, even to the point like I've been bored out of my mind in Delaware. And coming here and just doing that, it makes me grateful that I have a place where I could get away from all of this. It makes me grateful that I made the right decision to move to Delaware. And it helped me realize that it is just so hard to be your best self in New York because it's just designed to keep you in stress mode. The fact that I have to wake up at 7 a.m. or 6:30 to go move my car every other day, like just simple stuff like that. Like I don't have my car be parked in front of my house for hours. That shit don't move some days.
I'm like you see I'm like so conditioned to it now. So when you came,
Mhm.
I'm laughing. Like we was in the group chat also. Like for people that do know, Kadeem moved also, and he came back this weekend. And the both of y'all they going off in the group chat.
I
Like
seen Kadeem on the
Birkin.
train. Yo, it's too much. I see Kadeem on the train. I'm like, Kadeem, what are you doing on the train? He like, niggas gonna sideswipe my mirrors. I put that shit in a parking lot.
It's so true. It's not even funny, but it's so true. And it's just like it's just seeing like how conditioned, like I be stressed as hell here, and I'm like at to the point that it's like almost conditioned. Like, why are they tripping? Me and Steph was texting like, "Yo, they bucking," and I'm like, you know what? Kadeem and Liv never had to deal with parking and stuff when they was over here, so it's like a whole. It's crazy.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend. First of all, Mayor Adams, shout out to Mayor Adams. But this is even before Mayor Adams came into office. Like, New York is just not a city. It's not a driving city. New York City does not want you to have a car here. They want you to rely on MTA. MTA is a freaking monopoly.
It's
They
trash.
they are trying to get every damn
Oh my
dollar
God.
out of people. You know, have you looked at your pay stub? I get MTA tax taken out of my pay stub.
No, I never noticed.
Yo, MTA is trying to
You
get
gotta be
every
ready to
fucking
go
dollar
low.
that they can out of people.
But nobody pays for the bus and the train no more. I told you.
Yeah, niggas be hopping it.
Nobody.
We
pays
hopping
for-
the bus and the train.
Yeah, and it's like I'm still.
I have money and I'll still hop the bus. And the
Yeah,
train.
I have money for it and I still won't pay it because it's like I told you when I transitioned back to taking public transportation. First of all, I was like, WTF, no pun intended, but WTF, like what the hell? I was like, I couldn't believe that people were just woke. I'm like, oh, we don't gotta pay. I'm asking the bus driver, like, hey, can I get a ride? And he's not saying nothing to me.
Walking
And
ass.
yeah, like just woke on like everybody else, falling suit. I'm like, oh, I'm bugging. I'm moving like a tourist right now. And every day I've been taking public transportation now almost a year straight from like not taking it. I can't tell you the last time. And I'm still not
It's
like
too much.
I'm still not used to it. I'm still like, oh, I need to get the hell out of here.
No.
But part of the reason, because I came from having a car too, I kind of like not having to stress about parking, parking tickets, looking for parking, all of this, extra stuff. So it's like pros and cons in New York.
It's definitely
It's pros and cons.
to
It's
both.
like it's a lose-lose situation no matter what. Either you get the whip and you arguing for parking, your car
paying toll,
getting your windows stolen, your tires stolen. Remember when I had the Beamer? I walked outside and they stole the tires and the rims in the South Bronx. That's just so if you
shout
have
out
a car,
to the South Bronx, fucking bum.
no, shout out to the Bronx. Only we can talk shit because we're from there. But other people, shout out to the Bronx. But no, it's really like just ghetto. Do you feel like since you've been back, like even though you're just visiting, as far as like your mental health, like
girl, no, I cannot. So I've been doing a lot to help progress my mental health. I'm back in therapy and I've been taking yoga classes, right? To get my mind right, get my body right. For the month that I have been going to yoga, like I feel a difference in my body, like from being able to de-stress. Tiny.
As soon as you can.
Less than 24 hours back in New York, I feel all the tensions in my shoulders, in my neck, in my back. Like all of the work that I did in yoga to let that stress go immediately came back. Immediately.
So do you think it's city life or is New York City, to be specific?
It's hard to say because I haven't lived in another city. But I'm gonna just blame it on New York. I'm gonna blame it on New York.
It's like a love-hate relationship, right? Because it's like, I love my city. I love where I'm from. Like, I be so proud to say where I'm from when I leave. Like, are you fucking crazy? I'm from New York. Stop playing with me. But it's like, while we here, I'm like, this is really like the concrete jungle. Like, for real. It's just like, that saying is so true. I feel like if you can make it here, you can make it literally anywhere in the world. That's why, like, being in Delaware is a breeze for you because you came from the ghetto, the trenches. Like, for real. Especially like, I always say it's a difference between the South Bronx and Uptown, for sure. I only been there. How long I've been in the South Bronx now?
Maybe
3
years.
3 years? Going on 4? What the fuck?
It's a whole different world.
My mental health has deteriorated.
Can I tell you, I never, I so people don't know, I grew up Uptown too. I moved to the South Bronx when I was in high school. I never seen a rat until I came to the South Bronx. I never seen a rat.
Yeah, no, me either.
We seen rats. I had mass stray
I'm not
cats.
gonna lie. I've seen rats uptown, but not to the extent like in the South Bronx. No, absolutely not. But I also haven't seen as many people that I've seen shot, gang shit, 12-year-old ops. I'm like, what's going on? It's like a war outside. I told you that one time I was in the hospital and it felt like it was a war outside. I was in a trauma unit and all these people coming in from like gang assaults. I'm like, on a Thursday at 2 p.m. It wasn't like summertime, nothing. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's a war going on outside. Like, it's crazy. So it's just scary. It just makes me think about like having kids and stuff. Like, I'm like, I love where I'm from. And I kind of want my kids to be well-rounded.
No.
I do. Like, I don't be wanting a kid that doesn't know like what's going on in the world, but it's just like, it's too risky. I don't want no little gangster son either. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I just was like, I noticed that. I noticed the shift and like, you're like super peaceful in Delaware. And then when you came here, it was just like,
it's too much. I'm ready to go back. I'm counting down the days until I go back.
So just wrapping up 2023 and stuff. I know like for both of us personally, we've been going through like a lot, right? So as far as like, I want to kind of first focus on like the positives of what's happened. So what's some things that you felt like you achieved this year that you're proud of yourself about?
Oh God, I feel like I've done so much this year. Just being in a whole new environment, like I've been able to think different. Proudest, I have so many proud moments. Definitely purchasing my house. Getting my license. I got my license this year.
Jesus.
No more dirty riding.
First of all, no, pause, because Let me just share this freaking
Okay.
story because
Tell-
this girl, we focus on mental health and stuff here, and I think this needs to be highlighted because I know there's a lot of people out in the world that's like this and struggle with like anxiety and stuff. And one thing I do want to note when it comes to anxiety, and I always tell people, including myself, because I use this for myself too. Anxiety is really just the fear of the future, and it's just a thought, and it's a lie. It's not the truth. It's the devil. Like it's literally like the devil in your brain. Seriously. So this girl took her finally, because Liv has had her permit, been practicing to drive. I feel like for the last
My
5
permit's done
years.
expired.
Yo,
I had to
like-
go get a new permit. I had to go take the damn
Bro.
road test. I mean the written test 2 times.
Anyway, it's okay.
It's
My sis finally got to the point of taking her road test, and now I haven't taken my road test in like over 15 years. And I know it's completely different now. So I remember when we did it back then, this was before all the virtual stuff, they told you right then and there. So now they don't tell you, then you got to wait until 6 p.m., right? They tell you. So the whole time this girl's texting in a group chat and she's swearing up and down, I failed. I'm telling you, I failed. The whole day. When I tell you stressing me out, I'm like, I'm talking to Steph on the side. We got a friend group and we be talking shit about each other individually. So if it's me
it's
and her,
good stuff. It's good talk shit though. It's not bad
and
talk
we
shit.
know. So me and our other friend, we talking shit about Liv on the side outside the group chat. We're like, this bitch is fucking annoying. Like she passed and she's going crazy, and I'm like, damn, what if she did? She had us convinced she failed.
I did not pass.
The anxiety I was feeling from your anxiety, girl, just for you to know you passed at 6 o'clock. All of that for what? But that's how anxiety works.
Yo, it's crazy. I failed. I failed.
And your brain,
It's not no, you couldn't tell me. I failed. And God changed it at the very last minute.
So what do you, just to reflect on that too, right? Because that's something I think we both working on. Like, and it's one important thing. Actually, my therapist told me this, and I always tell myself this when I am going through like my anxiety. You're going to have anxiety forever, unfortunately. That's just what it is. That's the reality. If you have it, you're probably going to have it forever. Maybe not as intense, and you can work on like decreasing it, but it'll always be there. So when you do feel like that in the moment, what are some things that help you to like decrease your anxiety in that moment?
Now it's definitely been like what I've been practicing in yoga. So like my deep breaths and doing slight meditation, like reminding myself I'm here, I'm in this moment, so that I could get out of stressing about the future. This is something that I've only been practicing for a month now, but being able to do that, like my deep breaths and centering myself, has helped tremendously with my anxiety. Tremendously.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, like, just being real, right? Like, I remember the first time my therapist introduced like breathing, right? And it's always like a little bit of a conflict for me because that's my background, like social work, therapy. So it's kind of like you almost feel like it's giving the therapist therapy, and it's like, girl, I know what you're doing. That shit don't work, right? Like you be saying that, but it's like, it's so true. Like when you're actually intentional and you think about it, something that's cliche and it sounds like corny, like, oh, you just got to breathe in, breathe out, breathing exercises. It's really not just as simple as that, but it's being more intentional about it. And when you are and you're truly like in that moment and you're truly like sitting down and you're taking a second and you're breathing in, focusing on your breathing out. Like yoga, when I was doing yoga, I tried to do it 2 years straight, and I was like, it changed my life completely. And it's just like I said, being intentional, it makes all of the difference. And I think when people hear that, like when you're in chaos and you're like in crisis mode, and somebody be like, oh, just breathe.
Hell no.
I'll be like, bitch,
Get the fuck out my face.
I'm about to knock you the fuck out talking about just breathe. You get me tight. But it's like, it's really like, it's been so many moments where my brain is in chaos and it's like, this is happening, this is happening. And you're literally like in overdrive, you're overstimulated. So many things that like, I think our generation, we struggle with, just with, like we say, social media, and just like that shit's conditioned to really like shorten our attention span, and everything is like instant gratification, and 2-second, 3-second reels and this and that, so just taking that moment to step back and really like intentionally stop, breathe in, breathe out, and really think about centering yourself and your thoughts in that moment, it'll help you to calm down, I feel like. So I know I've always felt like that was corny or it was like cliche, and it's just like, I remember the first time my therapist told me that. She's like, stand up and put your feet on the floor and feel your feet touching the floor. And I'm like, girl, I got real shit going on. I don't know if you know,
No, it's true.
but it's so true. In that moment, it makes me feel at ease. So, I think that's important to like relay to people and really just being intentional about it. And that's something you can do anywhere. It's
Mhm.
not like, and of course it's not like a long-term thing. You're like I said, it's acknowledging the fact that anxiety is almost forever. You just in that moment, what's something that I can address this with?
Mhm.
So,
What are
yeah.
you most proud of accomplishing this year?
What am I most proud of? Let me see. Just making it through the year. I made it to the end despite like different battles internally, externally. I'm proud of myself for sticking it through to the end of the year. I'm proud of myself for, let me think. I was studying for my license exam,
Mhm.
and I was just proud of myself for sticking through with that because that was a challenge for me too.
Mhm.
And mm, doing a lot more self-care things for myself. Um Going, even though like I wasn't consistent, I'm still proud of myself. I
Mhm.
was doing I was
How to
going to the
start
gym.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going to the gym a little bit more consistently and working out. Going to church a little bit more, meditating more. And even though it wasn't like consistently all the way through, I'm glad that I did do it there. And one of the main things I'm proud of is sticking through with the podcast too. Again, even with it not being like what I envisioned and my goals, but I stuck it through for the year, and I'm proud of myself for that.
I'm proud of you for doing that too.
Thank you.
I feel like you had a rough year, and even when you may have thought you were at your lowest, you didn't stay there. And I'm proud of
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Don't make me cry.
Okay.
I'm fragile. I'm emotional. No, but yeah, seriously, I'm proud. So it's weird to like flip it to yourself. I think I struggle with that. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
people struggle with that,
Definitely.
giving yourself like your flowers, but it's so important because when you think about it and you say it out loud, it's like, I did that, and I don't
Absolutely.
even think about it. So, like one of the things I think I was telling you before, I was struggling with like imposter syndrome. For people that's not familiar, you're familiar with
Mhm.
imposter syndrome. So for people who are not familiar with it, it's kind of like where you struggle with like your achievements and your accomplishments and you almost feel like you didn't really do it. It's almost like another person did it. So I never realized I was going through that until therapy actually. And a pivotal moment for me was in therapy when I was stressing about studying for my license exam and my therapist was like, she's like, you got it, you got this, you got your master's degree. And it was the craziest feeling, right? When she said it, because I thought she was talking about somebody else. Like, not on some, like, not even on no crazy weird shit. I was just like, it was like I was hearing it for the first time, right? She's like, you got your master's degree. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. I do got my master's degree. Like, I did that. I totally forgot all about that. So it's like, part of the things I would do in the morning now with like doing affirmations and stuff is like reminding myself of like some of my accomplishments. Like,
Mm.
girl, you did
Mm.
that. You got a
Yeah.
master's degree, you got a good job. And I think people struggle with that, like acknowledging your accomplishments and, just being proud of it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think we both did a lot for this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Agree.
what's something that happened this year that you will remember for the rest of your life?
I feel like I just said that. No.
Which one is that?
Buying a house. Or no? Was that
That
another
was your
question?
biggest accomplishment.
Well, I'm gonna remember that
That forever.
forever.
That's your
I'm
life.
gonna remember this forever.
Did you ever feel like? Because I know we spoke about this on the other episodes with for the girls. At any point, even now, with you purchasing the home, have you felt any like doubts or like? When I say doubts, it's like remember we were saying like, oh, some people feel like it's intimidating for men and dating and things like that. Has it affected you? Anything affected you negatively with purchasing your house, and how like the outside people look at you?
Yes. I won't. There have been some negative experiences, but I won't let that affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't let that deter me or make me second guess what I did. But I remember when I told my grandma, I told my grandma that I bought my house.
Uh-huh. What did she say?
She was happy, but her initial reaction was shock. right? Rightfully so,
Yeah.
because I didn't tell her like I was looking for a house. I didn't tell her
Mhm.
I was approved. Nothing. I just when I closed, I was like, I got a house, like out the blue.
Mhm.
And she was shocked. And one of her initial questions was, "By yourself? Like, like you didn't do that, like
With a man.
with a man?" And I'm like, "No, I did it by myself." And she was like, "Well, why would you do that?"
Mhm.
And she was kind of like, but she comes from a different generation
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I spoke to her recently, and she just shared how proud she is of me that that's something that I was able to do by myself, because
Mhm.
her generation, unfortunately, it
Yeah.
was very rare. Um, I will say that I I think that me purchasing a home could be intimidating to a man. I won't get into the details
Mhm.
of why I say
Mhm.
that, but um I feel like it could come off as intimidating. I have been, I don't even want to say talking to, because it's not even talking to. Whatever.
This
Texting for
this
24
piss in
hours.
the dating pool.
Whenever I text a guy for 24 hours, that's how long they last before they end up getting blocked. Um, I don't say that I have a house. If I do
Mm.
reference my house, I say my place instead of like my home or anything like that, because I don't want to give inklings that I, am a homeowner. I feel like it may come off as intimidating. It's something that obviously I'm super proud of. I do want to share, but I feel like if I
I could
were
understand
to
that.
share that, I would wait
Yeah.
to,
Mhm.
I know them a little bit more.
That makes sense. So it's something you don't really disclose in the beginning. That makes sense
Mm-mm.
though. I think so. Is that like, what do you think is the reason for that?
What is the reason
Yeah.
for the intimidation?
No, for you not wanting to share immediately. Something I'm proud of.
Because I feel like guys may be intimidated by that, and they
Mm.
may treat me different. And not to say that different is bad. It's just oh,
Mhm.
fucking hostility,
I w-
bitch.
I was talking to, but right, it's like, is intimidating the right word, or is insecure the right word? Right?
I
It's a
think it's
a
both.
little bit of both, right?
I think it's both.
Because I was honestly, when we were talking about it the last episode, and then I had brought it up to one of my guy friends, and because they had hit me up again watching the episode, and they're like, "Yo, I'm super proud to live." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Yeah, that's my girl. She got a house," and I'm like, "Let me ask you," just because he was a male, I'm like, do you think it's intimidating? Like, what do you do if you how do you feel if you met a girl with a house? And he told me, I'm not gonna lie, it is intimidating, because it's kind of like she already got her shit together. So it's like, what can I offer her that she would need, right? So it's like, I don't know. I guess we would need a male here to really give like a thorough explanation. But you
Mm-mm.
know, either way, I think for the right man, it's not that intimidating.
Yeah, for the right man, it won't. For the right, absolutely.
Right,
For the
for the
right
right
man,
man.
ideally, my dream man, right?
Let's hear it.
He already has a
Speak it
house.
into the
He
existence.
already has a house. And when he meets me with my house, like, girl, you doing your shit. You doing your
Then
shit.
y'all move in together. That's an investment property.
Yes, and then we both purchase a house and then use our existing home as
Yes.
investment properties. That would be ideal.
You
But I
gotta be
don't know.
smarter than that.
It's honestly, it's the people that are approaching me, it's the people that I'm surrounding myself by. This is just not it for them right now.
Or the people you're attracting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Do you believe in that? Like,
No, fuck that. Because
I'm starting to believe that. I'm not
no,
gonna
it's
lie.
not who I'm attracted.
I'm
Because
telling
honestly,
you.
I'm not like actively dating. I'm not putting myself in situations
Mhm.
that would be ideal to the dating situations that I'm looking for. It's just kind of like, whoever approaches me. And I won't shame myself or like second guess myself because of who's approaching me. Because
Mhm.
one thing we know about men, they have the fucking
That's
audacity.
if they don't have anything else,
They
that's
have
what
the
they
fucking
have.
audacity. So I'm not gonna, use that as look, oh my God, look at who I'm attracting. Girl, they're gonna approach anybody. They're gonna approach anybody.
That's a good perception.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like now, referencing back referencing back to our smart episode. But I'm like, there was a lot of truth in what he was saying. And I felt like I started thinking about that even with myself. I'm like, why am I listen, because
Okay. Okay.
I was I started like questioning myself, because why am I attracting like all of the same type of men? And it gotta be something with me.
No. Yes, it is. It's not who you attract, it's who you entertain. Tiny, you're gonna get you're so many different types of men from all
Good
different
point.
walks of life are gonna be attracted to you. It's gonna be the fucking bums that don't have no business talking to like you need to get your shit together. Why are you over here in
Like,
women's
because
faces?
one thing they all have in common is the
Yes.
audacity.
And then you're gonna be attracted by professionals. Like, you know, you're gonna get attracted by so many
It's
men
what you
as well.
entertain.
It's what you entertain.
It's very true. That is very true. And I think and we spoke about this before too. I think what specifically with who you entertain and who you date, I do believe it's a reflection of who you are or how you feel about yourself. And I've noticed that about myself too, because it's times where it's like, you know, like I acknowledge like the accomplishments and the things that I've done for myself. And it's like, I don't want to sound like, I don't want to offend anybody I've ever dated.
Girl, just
but it's like,
we took
I be dating niggas like a little bit beneath me, if I'm being honest, right? And in retrospect to like career accomplishments, you know, I got a master's.
If you let Tyler Perry tell it, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Why?
Isn't that what the whole Tyler Perry recent thing was?
What?
Let the nigga pay the light bill or some dumb shit like that.
Which one?
What the hell did you remember what Tyler Perry said the other day? Damn, nobody.
No.
Nobody was checking for Tyler Perry.
What was it? What was that? What did he say?
He said some shit along like, woman, basically, your standards are too high with the type of men that you looking to entertain. You need to let a nigga around just to pay the light bill.
No, because I'm tired of that. No, because that's what I'm saying. So I feel like I said, I feel like it's a reflection of how you view yourself, right? So it's like, this sounds horrible, right? I don't know what I'm about to say.
Okay, no judgment.
Yeah,
No
right?
judgment.
Right, I have like a master's degree. I have like a career, whatever. You know, I'm starting to take off my career. I've actually never dated somebody with a degree.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about me? So it's like, right? So I'd be talking to like my other friends that have degrees and stuff, like my other guy friends, and they'd be like, Tiny, but what's wrong with you? You need to be, and it's like, you know what the truth is? The honest truth, this is me being vulnerable, and the honest truth is like, when I do talk to guys that's like, quote unquote, of my caliber, like have degrees and are in their careers and stuff, I almost feel intimidated, right? And I'll shut down and ghost.
Really?
Yes, I will shut down and ghost.
Why?
I guess it's own personal insecurities, because maybe I'm not where I want to be career-wise, financially, even though to other people it may look like, oh, she's doing great. She got a master's degree. She got it, right? And I'm just like, you know, maybe to him I look great, but when I'm talking to the big shot over here that's, you know, 850 credit score, he got his degrees, he's taking off his career, I feel almost a little insecure and intimidated myself. So I'm just like, I don't know, let me just back away.
Ooh.
Right? So that's why we're in therapy. To
Shouts
address
therapy.
that. To address that.
I went on a date recently with a guy. 0 out of 10 on him overall as a man. But I will say this. On a date, we were having like an intellectual conversation, and it was so refreshing. It was so refreshing because it's been a while since you know I've been able to talk like that with a man. Wow. It felt good. 0 out of 10 on the guy.
But you appreciated that portion. And that's good. And I think dating is hard too.
Dating is hard. You know what? I feel like, honestly, we make dating harder than it needs to be. Something that I've been checking myself on is that I need to stop dating for looks.
You still be dating for looks?
Yeah.
I do not no more.
And I need
I can do a medium ugly right now.
I need to take the status.
That I can. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of. Like,
because who I am and who I am going to be within the next 12 months, right? Like all the things that I'm working on or myself, I need someone that's equally yoked, and I need someone that aligns with the values that I have now and like the person that I'm aspiring to be. I need someone that aligns with that.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard. I think there's so many aspects to the dating. Yeah. You know, and it's like, are we dating? Because it's like, you don't want to seem crazy. Like, oh, I always reference the New York Tiffany Pollard
video.
My
last name dropped.
I want my eggs cracked. Because it's hard. We always talk about this, like, you know, I feel like for me, the conflict is like, I do still kind of, it's gotten lower, the percentage of how bad I want it, but I do still want like a family, a marriage, and all of that stuff. So it's like, when you think about that naturally, I think most women, like, in their 30s, it's like, okay, my biological clock is
Girl,
ticking.
fuck that biological
And I'm
clock.
like, I'm telling you, I've been thinking about myself, like, maybe I should go freeze my eggs. Maybe I should go, like, I don't know, because I don't want to be like 40 trying to get pregnant and it's like
Now, you
over.
can still have a kid at 40.
I know, but
Look at Ashanti.
but look at my mom. My mom had me at 40.
Look at my mom. I'm gonna have my sister at 39.
My mom had me at 39. So it's like,
So,
but again,
these are everyday people.
but there's also pros and cons, right? And as a product of someone with older, my dad was what, 53 or 54 when he had me. My mom was 39. And it's like as a kid with older parents, there's pros and cons. And also as a parent having a kid older, there's pros and cons. Not saying that it outweighs it, but it's just like, it's something that's in your mind that scares you. You know, automatically
Let
have
me
a
tell
high
you
risk
something.
pregnancy.
That shit only scares the Black community.
Mm.
Only the Black community be worried about, oh my God, I'm gonna be the old parent on the fucking playground. Because
But
when you
no,
go and
it's not just that.
What?
It's not just that. It's
What?
not just the whole thing. I got past that. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm gonna be 40 looking good. I don't care. But
Yes.
it's other things. It's just like natural, like high risk pregnancy, right? You don't want your child, like the risk is higher of like your child coming out with whatever. Not just being an older person, but it's like, you don't want to be tired. You want to still be active. And I think the key to that is taking care of yourself.
Absolutely.
So that I already have in my mind, because it's like, girl, yeah, it's looking like at this point, yeah, 40 is looking when you about to have one. But and if you want more than one, you got to plan it strategically. Then it's like, I also think about, I don't want to be, I could have did this at 25, right? If I was going to be a baby mama. Listen,
Okay.
and now, like, because it happens. You be seeing people like, okay, they waited 35, they got married, then okay, this nigga still ain't shit. He left. Now she's a single mother, and it's like, I'm tired. I know at 35 and 40, I'm gonna be tired because I'm tired now. So it's like, I could have did this at 21, but I'm putting it in God's hands, so I'm not gonna stress it.
Yes, God willing, the man that you start your family with will not be a baby father. This will be your
Right?
husband.
My husband.
This will be someone who will be in your home, actively loving you and raising.
Praise God,
kids.
amen. From your mouth to
Inshallah.
ears. And hello.
So listen. Okay, enough about. I don't want to talk about niggas. I don't want to talk about niggas.
Fuck these niggas. What is one of the nicest things you did for yourself this year?
Wow, nicest things was going back to therapy. Going back to therapy. I stopped therapy a couple months ago, and the nicest thing that I did for myself was calling my therapist and saying, girl, I need an appointment immediately because I'm struggling. And I did, I'm so thankful for my tribe of friends, my tribe of sisterhood. But when you be dealing with shit, I don't want to be freaking dumping that baggage on y'all all the time, especially when I know y'all got your own shit going on. Next thing I could do for myself and y'all is get back on schedule with my therapist.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, it be like we all simultaneously going through stuff. So it's like, all right, she dumping hers, I'm dumping mine, this one's dumping theirs. And it's like a support group trying to help each other up.
Trauma dumping on each other.
But you know what? It's good. I second that. I'm very grateful for my sisterhood, and I always say that because I really, truly, I don't think I would even still be here if it wasn't for them. Like, I really don't. Well, you guys, you're part of my sisterhood, so I'm like so internally grateful. So even when like I write my goals and I think of my goals, upcoming, part of the motivation, right, for it is I think about how I want to give back to my friends in some way. That helps motivate me. So, yeah, very grateful for that. I love you guys.
What just is nice thing you did for yourself?
I don't know. What was something nice I did for myself this year?
Yeah, think about it, bitch. Fucking
And that's the
moving
thing.
on and on to the next
Yeah,
shit.
that's
Fucking thing.
What was something I did nice for myself this year? I'm trying to think. Something I did nice for myself. I think there were moments. I do wish there were more, and I wish I did this like more intensely. But I do think that there were some slight moments I gave myself some grace in some tough situations. Yeah, I guess that was the nicest thing I did for myself. I can't really think of it.
And I'm over here trying to think too. I know you've done nice things, but nothing is really standing out.
I don't.
This is
That's a good reflection.
2024.
Yeah, it's a good reflection. What is something nice I've done for myself? I don't know. And I've actually been thinking about that too because when we think about it again, it sounds so cliche because I think so many people say it and stuff, but they're like, you have to love yourself and pour into yourself.
Mhm.
But it's like really like being so intentional. Like you
Yes.
when you sit back and think about I can tell you a million horrible things I did for myself. Like
Mhm.
off the top. I had like 10 just come up.
Wow.
So it's like you really have to like really pour into yourself, love yourself, be intentional, treat yourself how you would want your ideal partner to treat you, right? If I don't treat myself like this, how can I expect him or her to treat me like this? Right? So I guess that's one of my added goals for the next year.
Yeah.
Being more nice to myself.
Yes.
I don't know what I did nice to myself this year. I, other than I gave slight grace here and there. That was nice. Everything that's coming up for me is like things I did for others. So
Mm.
I don't know. For myself, I don't know. I gotta
But
prioritize
sometimes when
myself.
you do nice things for others, it helps you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what was the most challenging part of the year for you?
Ooh, I feel like
Vulnerable moments.
I had so many challenging moments this year, so many challenging. I feel like I had so many accomplishments this year, like, so many happy moments. I had so many highs and so many lows
Mm-hmm.
all at the same time. Oh, challenging moment?
The most challenging moment. I know there was more than one. I
Of
can think of
course.
like 5 for you right now, but I'm just,
I think the
what are
most challenging was finalizing my divorce.
I'm
That
gonna
was
give
the
you this
most
is a safe
challenging.
space for you. So
So for the listeners, I wasn't actually legally married, but I was in a long-term relationship, 8 years, and we finally cut ties with each other this
hmm
year, or severing ties with each other.
how was that for you?
Girl, it's fucking terrible. It's fucking
You feel like you're
terrible.
fucking dying, right?
Yes. Yes. Right now, I'm really grieving. I'm really
hmm
grieving because I'm grieving for the person that I thought he would be. I'm grieving for
hmm
what we were supposed to be. And this relationship is no more. And
hmm
this is someone who I thought, I know it may sound stupid, especially when you
No,
think this is somebody I thought I would have in my life forever. And
girl.
it's not. He's not. And it hurts. And I cry and I shed so many
hmm
emotions off of that fact. Like,
We all been
damn.
there. There's so many people that's gonna be watching this. That's like, I've been there. That's all you got to speak your
If
piece.
you've been there, please drop some.
You need
Like,
to
how
drop.
did you get through
You
it? How
gotta
are you
drop
getting through
how
it?
you feel so they can resonate too. Like, what are some things you're actively doing? How has the
Girl,
process
I've
been?
been
So,
crying and not
and that's
eating.
okay. And that's okay. That's okay because
Been
you lose
crying.
mad weight when you're stressing
Yeah.
a nigga. Oh my god,
My stomach
it be.
snatching it just a little bit. Just a
You
little
want to
bit.
drop some pounds? Start talking to a man because what? Um, mentally, how have like what are the emotions? Describe it. There's other people that feel exactly how you feel,
Yeah,
child.
this is someone I love and care about, and
hmm
this is someone who it's such a fucking uh, you have made me feel my most beautiful and you've made me feel my most ugly.
hmm
And there's been times where I want to be freaking in your skin every moment,
hmm
and there's times where I want you to
Mhm.
fucking die and get the fuck out of my fucking face. And despite all of that, I still want a future with you, you
Mhm.
know? And
It's sick, right?
yeah,
Some sick shit.
I've built you up. I've built our relationship up in my mind because I know that we have what it take to be this type of couple,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I will. Despite all of this person has been such a support to me just
Mhm.
the past few years. Like I've gone through so many different transitions. Like this person has been by my side through it all, and now I'm entering a new territory in life where
Mhm.
every day is an unknown for me, and it hurts me so much that he cannot be here with me through
Mhm.
all of these things that I know I'm about to do and enter, and you will not be by my side. And I worry that I won't have anybody at my side. I know I have my girlfriends. I know y'all will be there for me, but it's not the fucking same. It's not the fucking same. Especially with some, like, my dad wasn't there. I don't have an active man in my life. I don't have like an active uncle that I could call on. My man was all of that for me. Like, all of my male figure, he was all of that for me. And it's fucking ripped from me. And the dating pool is shit. And the niggas out here, they just worried about catching the next fucking vibe or getting some fucking hot and ready Little Caesars punani. And it's just like, I'm worried that I'm going to be entering all of these things and I won't have the support that I need or the support that I want in a partner to get through these moments.
That's real.
It's fucking scary.
It's scary. It's anxiety too. That's what the worry comes from, anxiety, like we said. And it's, it's fear of like the future. And like I always tell you too, it's just like, it's not real. It's your brain making you feel like, and I know it don't feel, it feels like it's real. It's like I'm worried, like, because I think, especially as women entering this phase, like, it's hard, and we build these unhealthy attachments to people because we become dependent. Absolutely. And this is why we promote so heavily therapy, because it gets to the root of these problems, right? Like you just mentioned, like not having your dad around and not having a male figure, right? So we subconsciously are looking for this in the men we're dealing with, and we're putting like this unnecessary responsibility and pressure on them. This is why it's so important to go to therapy and know that and heal yourself, so you're not unconsciously doing that to people, because the reality is it's not his responsibility, right? As much as it was a good support for you, and I know it was comfortable, and that's what it is. And part of growing, as you've been doing, and as you notice, all of your goals that you've accomplished this year dealt with what? You being uncomfortable, not comfortable. So it's like the uncomfortable is what helps you to grow, right? So, like, again, like I say this a million times, I'm super proud of you, and I know how hard and how challenging it can be, because you become like so dependent on these people that, like, are not good for you. They may be great in certain areas, but in other areas they're not. And it's almost like it's like sick when you think about it, because like dealing with like addiction. Because it's like, I know that this crack ain't good for me, but you know what? It's helping me get by day by day. Like what you're talking about. And you're gonna go through moments of relapse, and it's okay. And that's why it's also important to have that support. And like you said, like your sisterhood, and we always tell you that, utilize. And it's okay. Like, yeah, we all going through different stuff, and this is why we all hear from each other. Because me personally, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for you guys at all. Like, I really don't know. So sometimes I almost feel bad for the people that don't have that type of support. So I don't take it for granted. So I will say the same for you. I know it's not the same, girl. I know it's not the same as having your man by your side, child. I know, but and then the history and all of that stuff, you rely, and your mind makes you feel like, okay, no, this is the person that's been with me through this, through that, through that, through this, through that. But it also doesn't. I'm a firm believer, and it doesn't take 5 years, 7 years, 8 years to know if this is your person. That's my personal opinion. I don't feel like that. I feel like you will know when you know. And if it's like the same problem, not to say like when you are with your person, you're not going to have issues, of course, but like your core values and what you need for you to continue to grow and evolve into the woman that you're destined to be, it doesn't take that long to find out. It's just more, it's more of an unhealthy tie. And I know breaking it and how challenging it can be. It's the word heartbreak is like the most devastating
I feel like every single day
ever.
I'm going to a funeral.
Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels.
Please drop some motivational
Motivate. It's gonna be okay.
If you have gotten through the other side of this, please drop some motivation. I need it. Yeah. I need to hear that it's gonna be okay. Because right now it doesn't feel that way.
I know it doesn't. It doesn't. I hate it. It doesn't. What was it? I guess for me, what was my most challenging? Oh God, I got a list. The most challenging. I think they were all equally challenging. One of the most challenging things, let me think. Trying to show up for myself and trying to be like nice to myself when I'm like going through things. taking my license exam. That was like very challenging for me, but that was one of my accomplishments too. I was proud that I followed it through. Um, what else? Like putting myself out there and like failing. I don't like to use the word failing, but how do I say?
I'm gonna put it like give it a positive spin.
Yeah, because I don't like to use negative. We want to go from like a strength
Okay.
based perspective, but putting myself out there despite wanting to, and it not getting the end result that I expected. That was challenging for me. So it's the same, in the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
Dating is hard. Trying to at the same time, like dating and also trying to like level up your own life at the same time is hard. It's hard. And it's like me personally, I don't like doing it alone.
I understand.
I
think
do.
you have to do it.
Yeah, you do. You do. Absolutely. 1000%.
You can't do it. You can't, because they require so much energy. Dating requires energy, so much energy, and or how have a healthy relationship, right? And then also meeting your goals, and it's hard because one of those things is definitely going to fall to the wayside if you try to do it simultaneously.
I think ideally people want to grow with their partner, but
Yes.
looking for the partner while you're growing is the challenge. Right? That's a challenge within itself. And it's like trying, like this is one of the things we spoke about, I think, recently when we were talking about like non-negotiables with dating. And like, Liv had wrote in our group chat, she asked us, that I still haven't been able to come up with the answer, but she asked us, what are our non-negotiables with like dating? And like, I guess like deal breakers, right?
Mhm.
And this is something I would like to like revisit when I do have more of the people on the pod, but just like briefly going into it, I think that question is so important because when you asked it, right, I was thinking about it and I'm like, what are my non negotiables? What are things that I absolutely no, no, no? So I must have said this 1,000 times on the podcast. I'm probably known for not liking to date baby daddies, but whatever. For a million different reasons, right? But and this is not specific to like anyone I've ever dated, but there's times where I've broken my non-negotiables, not just with that, but just with other different things where I was like, I'm not dating a guy that does this and I'm not dating a guy that does that. And then I meet a guy and he's everything I said I wasn't going to deal with, but the vibe is right. Oh, we having a good time.
Fuck that vibe.
I'm having a vibe.
Fuck
Like,
that vibe.
oh my God, he's making me laugh. Oh, I'm a Pisces. I'm all emotional. Like, oh my God, I love him. And then it's like, fail, right? I'm in my feelings. I want to die. I'm mad dramatic. And it's like, I don't let a lot of people get close to me for this reason. And then like the one in a million I might let get close to me is like an epic fail. And now it's the end of the world and I never want to talk to men ever again. So this is why I think it is important to have those, because it's like, no matter what, when you are dating, you're taking that risk of possibly getting hurt. Now, if I get hurt by someone that I X'd out everything. Like, okay, I said I wasn't gonna deal with this kind of guy, this kind of guy, this kind of guy, and it's like I got hurt. It's okay, like it hurts, but it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I get hurt from a guy that I didn't follow my non-negotiables, now I'm blaming that. See, this is why. This is why I should have never talked to him. He's a baby daddy. He got this, he got that. You see, and it landed exactly where now it's like I'm falling harder on myself. So, yeah, I think those were like a lot of learning moments, challenging moments for me. I also feel like I kind of like felt back in a cycle of things I didn't want to fall back into, and that was like tough. So yeah, I would say showing up for myself when I really needed it. If you could change one thing that happened this year, what would it be?
Ooh, one thing that happened this year? None.
Nothing. That was beautiful.
Even the worst of
Even
the
the
worst.
divorce.
Even no, yeah.
Nothing.
Oh no. I'll keep it all as is. I'm learning so many valuable lessons, and I know for a fact these lessons are going to take me into the next phase of my life.
Amen.
See now, like I can't even talk to him 24. I give a nigga 24 hours.
There's no
before I
spark
get him out of here.
in 24 hours. I don't even answer anymore.
You have to make me fall in love within
Mm-mm.
24 hours. or
I
it's
can't
over.
even risk it. And I be feeling so bad because there's people that be in my DMs like 10 plus message. I will not respond because I think I'm too in a vulnerable state to put myself out there. And it's like, I am terrified of getting hurt. Like, I'm terrified because I just can't deal with it right now. Like, I'm too fragile. And I don't trust anybody enough to put myself out there that you're not going to hurt me to some extent. So I'd rather just ghost. And I'm trying not to do that either because ghosting's not nice.
Girl, I don't know. She be getting my feelings about this whole ghosting shit.
No,
Fuck that.
so remember, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share. Right, I had met somebody, like
a bum.
a bum.
He was a bum.
No,
Yes, he was.
I had met somebody, and they had. And normally I do not do this, right? Whatever. They're like, oh, can we exchange numbers? We met in a public setting. So I'm like, well, whatever, right? We literally spoke for 24 hours, right? One day.
Did you fall in love within 24
No.
hours? Get the fuck out of here.
And that's what I did. But that wasn't I didn't even give an opportunity for that. It was just like trying to get to know each other. So the first thing that he says, he's like, oh yeah, we're having casual conversation. He's like, I'm 35. He's a truck driver, whatever, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, he asks me if I have kids. And I'm like, no, I don't have any kids. So he's like, you don't have none? Zero?
Mad hype.
So I'm thinking, so when I be meeting other guys without kids, it's like a super green flag. So they be hyped just like me. I'm like, yo, you don't got kids? They're like, oh my God. So I'm thinking he's excited. He's not excited. He's like, that's crazy. You don't got no kids. So I'm like, you don't got kids either? He's like, no, I got 4. I was like, oh no. Right? So I'm like, oh no. So immediately I'm like, nah. Right? So he's like, 4 kids, 4 baby mothers. So I'm like, fuck no. And what was it? His two of them were like under the age of 5. It was just like the flags just kept popping up and up and up. So I ghosted him, right? The next day.
Rightfully so.
Right.
That was the appropriate thing to do.
And I was feeling bad because he kept messaging me he was like, oh, I know how to read between the lines, blah, 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 whatever. And you know why I felt bad? Because I'm like, I don't want to I wouldn't like to be ghosted. So
Girl.
I don't know.
We are not teenagers anymore, okay? We are all adults. We've all been ghosted multiple times. All of us.
I feel like I'm getting ghosted now, and it's horrible. And I thought about every person.
You haven't got ghosted enough.
Yeah, clearly.
It's a part of dating.
I know, and I feel
but it's an appropriate way to do it. There's an appropriate
so I was going to use the opportunity. Remember, I was going to use the opportunity to be an adult and speak about it. Hey, no, it's just not going to work out. It's just a waste of my time, clearly. But I didn't. I just ghosted him. But I feel horrible because I got ghosted and I feel horrible. And I'm like, oh my God, do people feel like this when I do this to them? Because this is not a good feeling.
No, because that wasn't appropriate. There's an appropriate way to ghost.
What is
it's rules to ghost.
What is Tiny. It? Tell me.
If you
how do you appropriately ghost?
If you have not been on a date with this person,
right,
you can ghost them.
And
them's the rules.
Okay.
If you have not been on a date with this person, you can ghost.
That was the first time I felt bad about ghosting. I mean, I didn't go. I still kept him ghosted, but I was just like, damn, maybe I should have said something. But no, you're right. And maybe that's why I felt different for me because I got ghosted after the fact.
Yes,
technically.
That was not appropriate. They should have had a conversation.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought it would be, or I'm, the typical nigga line. I'm going through something right now.
I'm going through shit.
Give me some time, figure it out.
I need you to understand. Just please. Anyway, what was something that was hard for you at the beginning of the year, but it's easy for you now?
That is a really good question. What was something that was hard for me? It's still, okay, this is still a challenge for me, but I'm aware of it now where I was not aware of it at the beginning of the year. And I want to work on it. And I want to work on it next year. It's advocating for myself. That is the goal my therapist gave me for 2024.
I agree.
I need to do better at speaking up for myself. And when I'm not in ideal situations, letting it be known instead of just sweeping it under the rug. And
I
I'm
agree.
hoping that becomes easier for me at the end of 2024.
I'm hoping so too. I think that you've been I've noticed,
Small baby steps.
and I'm proud
I've
of
made
you.
baby steps.
I'm proud of you because it's
Thank
not easy.
you.
It's not easy standing up for yourself and advocating for yourself. For some of us, it's easy,
Yeah,
but I'm proud of
it's
you
not.
because you tried. And there's other people that struggle with that.
I know.
But if you're not gonna do it, who else is?
That's the thing. I'm too old now. I'm too old. I can't like.
And it's funny, Liv, because you're not like that about standing up for others.
I know.
This bitch is like the most vocal. We be talking shit about you. We do.
It's okay.
And we feel like, she got all of it, but when it comes to her, that's the
Yes.
message for today.
You know what? But
Take care
it's
of you,
very, I be joking. My therapist is so fucking funny. We gotta get her on the podcast. No, it's like, anyways, she's West Indian too, right?
Mhm.
And she always be, us
Yeah, yeah.
Caribbean women all the time. But she helped me realize that I know other cultures deal with this too, right? Like struggling to advocate for yourself, but
Mhm.
especially West Indians because of the fact that it's just like something that we have just been conditioned to do. We think about our parents or our grandparents that were raised on an island and it's a small island, very small community, right? And it's not always common for you to do what's best for you. It's easier to do what may be the greater good for everyone else.
Mhm.
But when it's time for you to speak up for yourself, you notice that, people tend to shy away from it. And I think
Really?
that's why it's easier for me to stand up for other people, right? But it's so hard for me to do it for myself.
What's an example of a time you stood up for yourself this year?
Ooh, I don't know.
I can name a time.
Okay.
For you.
Uh-huh.
Serving divorce papers.
Ooh.
And I know that wasn't easy for you.
Okay. Wow. Yes, I did definitely stand up for myself when I served them papers.
What is the fear you feel when you're like about to stand up? Like, what do you think stops you from doing it? That's anxiety.
Am I making the right decision? Am I going to regret this? Could I be burning a bridge that I'll possibly need later on?
Okay. Those are real.
Is it worth it? Is it worth standing up for myself?
It's always worth standing up for yourself.
The person may not even care. Like
That's
I may vocalize.
So am I doing it for the person to care or am I doing it for me?
Okay.
No, you're making me like
That's what she asked. That's what my therapist asked me. Like, is it about you or is it about them? It's about, at the end of the day, it's about me.
Right.
And that's something that I have to remind myself. It's never about how they're going to take this, what they're going to say. Standing up for yourself is you doing something for you.
Right.
Fuck the other person.
Right. But I hear what you're saying because I think in situations where I am fearful, I don't know if fearful is the right word, but I'm hesitant to stand up for myself. I think that's one of the reasons that come up in my head too. Cause like, oh my God, he or she's not going to care. And it's like, fuck that. Like if he does, it's not about him or her caring. It's about, I need to get this off and I'm going to get it off. And you're going to feel how I feel at some point, So good point. What was the question I asked you? What was something hard for you at the beginning of the year, but easy for me? I have no idea. Something that was hard for me in the beginning of the year that's easy for me now. I think doing like my morning like routine with like doing like affirmations and breathing and just like pouring into myself in the morning. I wouldn't say that it's easy now, but it's definitely a lot easier than it has been. And taking time, just being intentional again with myself. And I think it's an ongoing process, but it makes all of the difference. It's so true. And just being a little bit nicer to myself.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you've made the biggest improvements?
The way that I talk to myself, the way that I view myself, how I treat myself. I feel like I've made a lot of
Give me an example.
there.
Can't just talk. There's somebody out there that wants to do that. How do they do it?
Okay. I was letting my ex's view of me become my view of myself.
Mm.
And there were a time, I will say I was undervalued
Mhm.
in their relationship. And I used to always feel less than,
Mhm.
and always comparing myself to other people.
Mhm.
And that became my reality. Like I would be in public settings, with my ex, and I would be like, oh my God, look at Tiffany. She's so beautiful. Her long hair, her pretty skin. Oh
Mm.
my God. And then look at me with my short, nappy
Mhm.
hair. And
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
look at the way he said hi to her. He would never, I'm talking
Mhm.
about my fucking man at the time, right?
Mhm.
Oh my God, he would never say hi to me like that. I need to be more like Tiffany, right?
Mhm.
Because to get that, because I want that affection from him. And,
Mhm.
so I used to think about like how I can be more like people that he was attracted to. And I'm breaking that cycle and just
Mhm.
how can I be true to myself, right? Like,
Mhm.
how can I do what's best for Liv?
Mhm.
Instead of rocking Tiny's hairstyle because Tiny got a high out of my man and
Mhm.
he acted like he didn't want me around him today.
Mhm.
Now
It's
I think, what hairstyle looks best on Liv? Fuck everybody else,
it's the truth.
What clothes look good on Liv? It's not about what he thinks look good on me. Like, what do I feel
It's
comfortable
about
with?
having your own confidence, and let me tell you, just from experience, that's a tough cycle to break. Not that you can't do it, but it's like obviously, like I've been through very something very similar, and that was 7, 8 years ago, and 8 years later, I still like there's moments where I still struggle with that. And I'd be like, what the and I've come like way for like to the point like that actual person could never like
Mhm,
you like I would laugh at you at this point. But it's still like the psychological abuse behind it. And it's just like it's almost like ingrained in your brain and having to undo that. And it's hard, but it's definitely doable. But it's like all of the things like you're already doing, going to therapy, going to yoga, intentionally talking nice to yourself and stuff because we get so wrapped, especially when you're in long term relationships like that, you get so wrapped up in your partner and it's this like codependent, unhealthy relationship. And it's like my view of me is your view of me. And then when it's not nice, it's like I'm internalizing your view of me. But when you're a confident woman and you pour into yourself, it's like someone else can never interfere with that when you get to
mhm,
that point.
mhm,
But it's like I said, it's ongoing, constant work because like for me, 7 years later, I still struggle with it. There's still times where I'm like, I remember when I was in that relationship, it was a time where I wasn't comfortable going outside without makeup. Like
mhm,
I couldn't walk out of my room without having a pound of makeup on my face.
mhm,
And I was like, no, because I look ugly without makeup. No, I can't go because my hair, I can't wear this, I can't like that. I remember like you obviously you know me like in my personality. I'm very like sociable.
Social butterfly.
I can be a social butterfly. I can like, I love to crack jokes. I love to make people laugh. And I remember like watering down myself because of his insecurities. No, I can't make people laugh. I can't tell a joke. I can't be myself because if I'm making people laugh, I'm looking for attention and that's not me. Like I'm a goofy, like I'm a clown, like I like to laugh, I like to joke and trying to break all of that. And it's like 7 years later, I'm now trying to do that. And that's like something I do look for with my partner, being able to be myself.
Mhm,
And now, and relationships after that, I definitely got that. And it was like one of the greatest feelings ever. Like, and even though those relationships didn't work after, it's something I would, it's like, what's that saying? I'd rather have loved and lost than I haven't loved at all. And I think that's how I felt like about my
mm,
relationships after that because I was in a space where I was able to be myself. And I'm like so grateful to have experienced that.
mhm.
Like, okay, that's out here. Even if it didn't work out long term, it's out here. Like, there's guys out here that would embrace Liv being her and like, girl, do your thing. And I'm not going to affect how you feel about yourself. So it's out there, ladies,
It's
at some
out
point. Some point. I know it feels like it's not, but it
there.
is. What are we looking forward to for the next year?
I am looking forward to spending more time with you.
Oh, stop.
We away from each other
I
now.
know.
I'm hoping that, we continue to find opportunities to spend time together, which I'm sure we'll do. I'm looking forward to getting to know this new version of myself. I'm
Mhm.
in a completely new environment. I'm
Mhm.
doing new things. I feel like you know, I'm going through some sort of rebirth. And
Mm.
I'm excited to see who the person on the other side of this rebirth will be. I'm excited to see what new experiences I learn and, how I act. I feel like I'm going to be acting differently.
Mhm.
I'm
Rightfully so.
evolving. I'm excited for this person. I don't know her yet, but she seems like she may be pretty dope. And I'm excited to get to know her.
Yes. What am I looking forward for the next year? Just yeah, progressing in my career.
Mm.
Um, I have this feeling that I'm gonna have a career change. So I'm trying to embrace that. I'm trying to like follow through with all the stuff I started from 2023 wrap up into the next year and watching it come to fruition.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to really taking my craft serious
Mm.
and really moving forward with my podcast and doing whatever I can for my brand to, elevate it for the next year. There's so many times, and I think most people feel like this that do have a brand and do have like anything going on, any type of projects or stuff. There's moments where you feel defeated. There's moments where you feel unmotivated. I think everybody goes through that no
Mhm.
matter, what you're working on. And I definitely had those moments. And one of the things that stood out for me and helped motivate me were all the random people, some people that I don't know,
Mhm.
some people that are not even from New York, that contacted me and just like talking about the podcast. Because I feel like I'm always, this is one of the things I do want to work on too, but I'm always downplaying like my accomplishments and my success. Because I'm like, oh yeah, like it was okay, like I got a couple views, or oh I don't have that much content, or oh my platform's not that big. And then when I hear people from like Florida or Cali, or I remember someone from Germany commented on one of the videos, and I was like, oh wow, like this is crazy. Like I feel like I'm always starting that off when I do speak to someone, or I'm shocked when people DM me like, hey, can I come on your platform? And I'm like, why is this rapper from with 200K want to come? I don't got a big platform. So trying to downplay that, like trying to stop downplaying myself, so I'm looking forward to really, just taking more control and pride with everything that I got going on for the next year.
That'd
I'm
be
a little bit
beautiful.
excited, and spending more time with all my friends, and everyone's transitioning. I think we're all going through different things in different directions, and still keeping a sisterhood together is dope. Because I feel like we really have the like insecure Harlem girlfriends,
Yo, so relatable. Both of
like
us
so,
are super
because this is
relatable.
like literally our life. So just watching everybody go through different things and really bracing myself for the difficult stuff I am going to face next year, because you're always going to face through challenges and not letting it weigh me down or take a huge
Mhm.
effect on me.
Absolutely.
What are some of your goals for next year?
No goals for me next year. I finally completed
Mm,
my 5-year plan and I'm taking a much needed break
mm,
because the last 5 years were extremely stressful, especially last year.
mm.
Extremely, extremely stressful. I'm taking a break from like checking off things off my list. I'm finally in a space where like I'm stable and I
Mhm.
created this stability. I have peace and I created this peace and
Amen.
I am going to soak it all in before I think about goals.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
I think you worked extremely hard. And one thing, like from the outside looking in, I know people see you and people don't know, especially because you don't like publicly.
Mhm.
I know because
Right.
I'm your friend, but I know from the outside looking in, with a lot of people, right? We just see accomplishments. This is like, oh, she bought a house. She just bought a house. Nobody knows the work, the headache, the stress,
The
the
tears.
tears,
Oh my, the
the
moments I
I.
gave up and my friends had to be,
Mhm.
bitch, no, get the fuck.
Right. So knowing all of that and like you still push through, it's like I told you, you're like one of my most
Thank you.
inspirational
Thank
friends
you.
constantly. Like you are someone that I really hold dear to me, and I think about like I'm glad I have president in my life, because it's like I think it's important to have people around you that's doing certain things just to motivate you.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely grateful for it, and I know how much hard work, discipline it took. And you gotta give yourself a little more credit. You don't give yourself enough credit either.
Yeah.
because that's not easy
No,
at all.
it wasn't.
There was no handouts, there was no guidance. I'm gonna use that,
Mhm,
loosely, but there was no
mhm.
guidance, no handouts. You really like did that by yourself, So you got to give yourself credit. That's not so many people in the same positions as you would use that as an excuse, right? For why they can't accomplish certain things. Like, oh, I didn't have my dad around, or oh, I grew up in, in a certain environment and I had a single mother and we didn't have this and we didn't have that. So I can't, the opportunities were lesser for me. Yes, it's true. But you persevered through it,
Mhm,
which is not easy. So you have to give yourself credit for that.
mhm.
So I will give you your flowers always.
Thank you.
That's what are my goals for 2024? I wrote them down, some of them, right? Remember, I wrote them
Oh,
down the
yes.
other day.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of goals, but just to like breeze through most of them, I think at the top of my list of my goals is to really prioritize myself fully,
Mhm,
like in every aspect, financially, emotionally, physically, even if it is little things here or there, just 1000% prioritizing myself, especially in the field that I'm in. I'm constantly every day listening to other people's issues and problems. This is what I do for a living. So it's very challenging not to take those on
yeah.
as an empath. And it's very challenging to like really put myself first in situations. So I'm really trying to make that the top of my list of my
Mhm,
priorities. Like we mentioned earlier, I'm like, how can I expect to all these other things I want, right? Like a family, a husband, even though it's like deteriorated, but like I still am hopeful.
mhm,
And I'm like, how can I want somebody to treat me a certain way if I can't treat myself that way? So really putting myself on that pedestal and really pouring into and talking nicely,
mhm.
it makes a difference.
It does.
Being nice to yourself and not being so hard. Highlighting my own personal goals throughout the week that I do. And showing up for myself. So one of the other main goals is like getting my finances complete in order and like really designing myself to be this woman that I envision myself to be, that I want to align and attract my person for me,
Mhm.
because it's like look at all this work I did and somebody's gonna get it, right? So somebody's gonna reap the benefits of like healed Tiny.
You're right.
So that's my main goal.
I love that.
And being very consistent with my podcast. I think this is at the forefront of my goals too, my podcast, and really taking off with it and staying consistent and utilizing supports around me. Yep.
I'm looking forward to 2024
Okay.
for you, watching you, seeing what you accomplish, and being there to be able to support you as much as you supported me through all
Mm-hmm.
me and my madness.
Yep. We all. Poor Stephanie too.
I
Our
know.
other
Poor Stephanie.
our other friends that have to deal with support. It's a lot. It's tough, but we all show up. I think in one way. If I'm taking off duty, Steph
That's
stepping
true.
in. If you take off, we all
That's
take
true.
we take
Yes,
shifts.
we take shifts.
We
That's
take
true.
shifts checking in,
Shout out to the
but
shout
but
out to the
you,
sisterhood.
you need a little crew. So I'm very excited. And I think this was a dope episode.
I
Just
think so too.
just to release vents.
Absolutely.
Is there any closing points that you want to make?
Um,
None.
no, I can't think of anything.
I think the only message I want to leave with is basically what we said the whole episode, right? Just prioritizing yourself, being nice and kind to yourself, give yourself some grace. It's hard out here. So many people, and I realize that, like I told you, every time I post something in regards to like mental health in the podcast, the amount of people that write me like, oh my God, Tiny, like, another thing I want to highlight too, so many people wrote me like looking for a therapist and asking for my help.
Me
Yeah, you
too.
see, like,
Yeah.
and that's what
And I
makes
love doing stuff like
me
that.
too. And this is what made me start it. So it's not easy. We talk about that, not finding a therapist, finding the right therapist. It's not easy. So just being able to start a small community of people that's receptive and they hear our message, that's what keeps me like, nah, I got to do this. I
Hmm.
want to keep reaching people in a certain way. So that's another one of my goals, and just giving back. I want to give back in different forms in 2024, in different ways that I can get creative with and giving back to people in whatever way I can come up with. Those are definitely things I'm gonna look for. So
I love that.
the message is just pour into yourself, prioritize yourself, give yourself grace. Everybody's going through a hard time right now. It's not just, you know, social media makes you think everybody's living it up. It's a lie. Trust me, this is not true. It's
Everything
not.
on there is fake.
It's fake. It's not true. I can act like I'm married on there. I'm not. It's not true. So, yeah. Um, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share. We are now on Apple Podcasts, also Spotify, YouTube. I'll have everything tagged and linked for you guys. And support and follow on Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere.
All
And
of that.
thank you guys so much for your support. It means the absolute world to me. And thank you, Libby.
Thank
I
you,
love you,
Tiny.
girl. Okay. Bye, guys. Was that a full hour or a little over?
Yeah. That's small talk energy. Oh, that's small talk energy. Oh, that's small talk energy.